Oh, no problem, Sam. It's, do you know what? I think it was me, my end with a whiteboard, and we can do it on this. So I think what we'll do next is have a look through the price action. So has everybody got this? So seasonal long going into this week and into a few days. CAD, Aussie, pound. The Kiwi is also kind of long neutral, so the Kiwi you could put in here as well. So NZD, these sort of, it's not quite as strong. And then the dollar and the Swissy is short. Now, if you guys have not finished, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to delete this in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now we're going to have a look through some of these charts. So that would suggest now the yen is also short. I should have noted that down. Now let's have a look through some of these charts. So what I don't want to be doing is pitting the long currencies versus the short currencies. So I don't really want Aussie CAD. I don't really want pound Aussie, and I don't want the Kiwi Aussie and all those combinations. So I'm really after things like the pound Swiss, Aussie Swiss, CAD Swiss, Kiwi Swiss, Aussie dollar, pound dollar, Kiwi dollar, and all that. Now the euro falls. The euro is a little bit weak as well, so actually we could use the euro. Okay, so let's start with the Aussie. Now the Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar is suggesting that this is long. Now what we see here with the price action is on the daily chart, we are seeing that there is this very negative looking 3-bar pattern, a push up, a reversal bar, and then a big push down. Now that may well be as far as this one goes. So really, not euro, Richards. Long pound, long Aussie, long Kiwi, long CAD. Long pound, long Aussie, long Kiwi, long CAD. Short euro, short Swissy, short dollar, short yen. Thanks for clarifying. But that's what we need. Pound, Aussie, Kiwi, CAD, long, euro, dollar, yen, Swissy, short. To greater and lesser degrees. So if we're starting with the Aussie suggesting a long. Now, the good thing about the Aussie is the price is good. So even though I don't like this pattern, the pattern's the kind of like, it's going to be part of the detail. Really what I want, no problem, Richard. Really what I want is to see a reversal pattern down here. So if I'm on a daily, now I need to see this give me a 4-hour or an hourly reversal. Now this is steep. That is very steep, really steep. So it might be a little bit too steep, but it was pretty aggressive. The sell-off on this one on Friday, but I like it. I like it when people hate stuff, and this is hated. And there's no question that there's going to be investors and traders looking for this to break out. Now that's fine. If it breaks out, it breaks out and breaks to the downside, and we can ignore it. But really, what I'd like to see is a carve out of some sort of bottom here, and then push it to the upside. So Aussie dollar is not ready, but it's in a very interesting price point. So I like that. Okay, what else we got? A euro or Aussie. Now the euro Aussie is suggesting a sell-off. Now quite like this too, actually. This one looks like it's in a range. And it's been in a range for a while. So I'm just going to go to the weekly and just draw a channel there. Now that suggests that we are at a very inflection price point, and price was not able to close above that price point. So let's see if we can tidy this trend line up a bit as well. There's probably one there. Yeah, that looks good. Look at that one. That's an inverted head and shoulders forming, which is bullish, no question. So the broader picture on the Euro Aussie is a bit more bullish. And this price point is above. So that would have to get under that level first. If I saw on Monday or Tuesday, something which did this. Can't change my colors. Why can't I change my colors? Okay, I should be able to do it now. If I saw this, if it, you know, pretty much straight out the traps managed to give me that, then I can see if there's anything on the retracement and make sure it doesn't close above that level again. I like this level. It looks pretty good. This level, of course, will be of interest. So if it does pop to the upside, then I'll be watching what the price action is here instead. That point. But I would probably ignore anything in between. Not really that interested in the Euro Aussie. It's going to have to really kind of give me a clear enough signal. I like this upper level and I like this level, but everything else is just not clear enough. Euro CAD. So Euro CAD would suggest a sell. No, that's not quite as good. It could come down a little bit. I don't love that. Euro pound suggests a sell. Struggling there. My problem with selling the Euro pound is that we kind of seem to be bumping along here, and we have been for a number of months that has gone actually into years. In November the 20th, but also you can see even back here, 2021, it seems like quite a crucial price point. 2020, it seemed 2019, sorry, it seems like a crucial price point. Still there. So we seem to be at a little bit of an inflection price point, which would put me off trading this long or short. This looks like, you know, what potentially is carved out as fair value over a long period of time. So Euro pound would be out. So at the minute, Euro Aussie is the most attractive. Aussie dollar is also attractive. And what else we got? So I'm just going to quickly make a note. So Aussie dollar long. And Euro Aussie short. The charts are sort of promoting the Aussie, sort of suggesting that the Aussie might be the one to follow. Right, the pound Swissy. Now this is another sort of similar picture for me, where it is just not attractive enough. And that was a terrible looking bar last week. Look at that bar. That's not particularly confidence inspiring. So I don't like the pound Swissy. This suggests, if anything, that we're going to see some downside first into this area. So could we then maybe look for buy signals? Yeah, probably. But I don't want to go into the week having to see a big retracement. I like the Aussie dollar because it's already at price. This one, it would have to come down a bit first. Not completely adverse to it, but let's just have a look where that might need to come from. Yeah, that's too steep. I mean, if that comes down there, is there a horizontal level? Well, there is. There is. So the low of this bar, the low of the bar that was created last week, so the open of last week, price comes down there. That does suggest it's time to buy. That wouldn't be that attractive to me. I don't like the fact that it's still kind of a bit of an untested area here and maybe here. So the pound Swissy I don't like very much at all. Right, what else is there? Now the Kiwi Swiss I'm already in. Now I don't particularly like this bar at all. And this is also suggesting this could come down. The only thing is, it looks like it's through that level. Now, what we saw was the S&P reduce interest rates, and still this thing just collapse a bit. You know, just decided it wasn't the catalyst it wanted. But the seasonals still suggest this one popping up. Now, I'm not super keen on where my stop is, because it could come down, tag this lower trend line and stop me out and still go. So I'm going to have to figure that out, whether that means taking a bit of profit so I can move some stops down. I mean, I can't take a lot of profit because it's, you know, it's only a few pips above where I am, but it's going to need some management. I don't want to be tagged out of this one. I'd like to stay in if possible. but it looks like there could be some further downside. This is a support zone. This is a support zone, which looks pretty good. So far, it's managed to hold. So I'd want to sort of continue to see it hold along there. I like it on the longer term picture. So really, I'm sort of starting to form a kind of an idea of Euro Aussie short, Aussie dollar long, and Kiwi Swiss long would be the ones I'd prefer. Now, on a month-over-month basis, when we've got the last week in tow, could this sort of start to build up? Well, it definitely could. It definitely could. It's got every reason to go higher, but for whatever reason, as soon as the S&B lower interest rates, the Swiss franc strengthened rather than weakened. Now, it might be that it's just shaking out some of the weak hands. So so I'm gonna hold on to that and see what I can do with it. Looks like it's going to need some decent money management. One thing that could be done is if it does come down, just allow it to be stopped out. No big deal. I mean, frustrating, obviously, but allow it to be stopped out and then see if there's another entry a bit lower. You know, if it can come all the way down to this line. When's that? That's on the 5th of the 5th. Oh, that's a long way away. Yeah, it's got to be this week, actually. So we'll see. We'll see what goes on with that. Kiwi yen is suggesting upside. I tell you what, look at these bars here. Let's just double check something here. No, I was going to say, oh, actually, pound Kiwi, look at that. Big surge there in the pound Kiwi to the upside. Pound Kiwi CAD, big surge to the downside. And I would suspect it's probably the last day. Yeah, the last day was pretty rough for the New Zealand dollar. So that is suggesting that actually there's probably something internal with the Kiwi. This is the Kiwi yen pushing to the downside. So this is going to have to take some investigation. So what the price action is really pointing towards is the Kiwi towards the end of last week was the most bearish of the currencies. And that's going to need some explaining, because if that explanation comes back to suggest that that continues, I'd actually prefer to be out of Kiwi Swiss rather than holding on to it. So that's going to need some investigating. But at least we know to investigate now. We know what to investigate. This is the Kiwi dollar. Again, look at that. Big sell-off right at the end of the week. No, 2 days, Thursday, Friday, the end of the week. It just, this one just could not catch a bid at all. So the only thing is that now that's on a support line. So that's quite good. So investigation is going to need to be done. Price action will need to probably develop itself a little bit before we make anything too rash, because it might be that this is actually a really interesting point to look to buy the Kiwi, just like we're looking at buying the Aussie. So the fact that it's sold off, all it's done at this stage is to create a better price to go long. Has it created a signal that we should go short? Well, maybe, but let's see if we can figure out why that sold off quite as aggressively as it did. I don't mind aggressive sell-offs if they're unsubstantiated with data. It's it's okay. It creates an opportunity, and I'm much more interested in getting something nice and cheap or a value than getting in full stop. Now, I'm just bringing up my economic calendar here. And we will check on the end of last week. But we'll check on the whole of last week. Right, hopefully you can see my economic calendar. So we're not probably interested in any of this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because there was a few things here. Westpac consumer sentiment on Tuesday was positive, so it's not that. Current account percentage of GDP was weaker, but it was already weak anyway. So probably nothing to see there. And then Wednesday came. Wednesday. Okay, big problem. Big problem. So New Zealand announced they were in recession. That's what it was. Previous print, negative 0.3%. Most recent print, negative 0.1%. So New Zealand are in recession. Now that is not good. So late. Now that was late on Wednesday. Now, was that compounded on Thursday? Now, of course, GDP is a lagging indicator. It's a lagging indicator of what's going on with the economy. But there was a few things pointing at that GDP print coming out. S&P interest rate, they lowered the interest rate 1.50%, which was great, and that helped a lot of Swiss pairs that had the Swissy as a short. Now, trade balance was, I'm still looking at the Kiwi numbers here. Trade balance at negative 218 million from 1,089 million. So actually, that's not too bad. That's an improvement. And then what happened on Friday? Okay, so what we can see from that is that there may well have been a bit of a delayed reaction to the news from New Zealand, because if we look at this on the daily, this was the GDP number. Then at the end, so it's buying up into GDP, and then all of a sudden it started to turn. Now let me just see what MT4 time there is getting close to the end. I think this is the GDP number. Terrible GDP number, and then all of a sudden it just starts to collapse. So there is a reason actually, and really what needs to now be seen is that GDP number a problem? Is that the state of things to come in New Zealand, or is it a little bit of an anomaly and a one-off? Because if it is, and they can fix it up pretty quickly, then the price will turn around pretty quickly. I'm just going to have a look at how consecutive we are in recession. Has anybody got any questions on that so far? Anything you want to you guys want to look at instead? Hmm. Okay, cool. AXU USD gold. Yep, sure thing. Let's have a look at gold as well. Let's have a look at gold. So I can see here that it's been flirting with recession for a number of months, actually, really since the first quarter, sorry, of 2023. That was negative. Just popped out of negativity. It was flat, a little bit of growth, flat, sorry, negative, and just a bit negative. It's not awful. It's not awful. So that's not going to send me panicking too much. Okay, let's have a look at gold and see what's going on here. Here we go. Okay, month on month. Wow, tell you what. That isn't great. That's not that is not too positive in many respects, because we're getting this tail now. What needs to happen this week is quite pivotal, really, for this chart, because what needs to happen is that this price will need to get. I mean, here's okay, but a little bit higher and close a little bit higher this week would be positive, really positive for gold. That's going to look like a breakout. Last week's bar was sending a bit of a message that the bulls are either running out of steam altogether or just taking profit in this area. Now, if we have a look where that could come, it looks like it's there. So gold looks like it should drop a little bit. That's the first thing that I would suggest from the charts. The gold would suggest it's going to drop to. Let me just fix one thing. Okay. Now what we'll have a look at is the historical data for gold as well. On the dailies don't look as bad, actually. The daily almost looks like a positive setup. Maybe an evening star. This third bar doesn't look so good to suggest downside. But gold looks like it's probably ready to retrace. However, the dollar is suggested to be weak this week. So that does promote gold. No question that gold is bullish over the long term. The big question, I think, for anybody wanting to trade gold is, do you think there's value in this particular area? And the answer to that is going to come in two. You know, the answer really is two. It's twofold. Firstly, do you think it's value? Well, that is suggesting on where if you think it's going to be higher today, sorry, higher in your time frame period, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 6 years to today. If you think that that's the case on a time frame period, that's value. If you think over the course of the next week it's going to be lower, this isn't good value. And the chart suggests that this is probably over the next week or two is likely to at least tag down here before it gets going again. So this doesn't look like a buying opportunity at this stage. I don't love the price. We're at all-time highs. So I can't get back from there, but we're at all-time highs without any real confidence, you know, particularly what we saw with this bar here. Federal Reserve are talking about lowering interest rates. Probably need some data to drive this higher. But I think in the early markets on Monday, this looks like a move to the downside. Would I trade it lower? Absolutely not. I would not be selling gold because the move higher is strong. The reason for the move higher is strong. Really, for me, it's can it come down to create a buying opportunity? And because the buying opportunity right now is just not there because the price isn't attractive. Now we're going into April. Now, gold historically, between the 26th of March, so looking at Tuesday, to the 31st of March, so this week, tends to weaken 16% annual return if you were sort of trading that over a 25-year period. So the seasonal picture for gold isn't good. The seasonal picture for gold, I should say, is bearish. It looks like the sellers come in. The technical picture for gold is bearish, and it looks like the sellers come in. The fundamental picture depends on your time frame. You know, Fed don't look like they're going to be raising interest rates. Sorry, lowering interest rates in April. So that would suggest some weakness in gold. So a little bit of selling would be what I would look for personally. As I say, I wouldn't trade it lower personally, but I'd like to see this come down before kind of getting a cheaper price. Then maybe going into next week, we could start to see if it's worth buying. Does that make it clear for you, Cynthia and Richard? Or have you got any other comments that you know, what do you think about it? Interested to know what your thoughts on gold are. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And of course, these are all opinions. I mean, I haven't got a clue where gold's going this week, but my opinion is that it's run hot. It's run a long way, but pretty fast, pretty in a short period of time. If you think about this, it is a decent breakthrough. So this bar here suggests there's going to be more buying, but over the course of the next couple of weeks, that suggests that the potential take profit is this suggests a bit of a fade into this bar's range, into bars one's range, a fade into the range of bar one, and then off again. Because the kind of the macro picture suggests long for gold, and it could even come down to this point here. Now these are futures, 2165 futures, so we're looking at 2190, but that would equate to around about 3% drop in gold. Is that right? 3% drop. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe 2 to 3% drop in gold. Okay, that is my thoughts on the market this week. So we're looking probably for. I mean, I'm looking at Aussies long. I'm looking at Kiwi long. Probably still short in the Swissy. Probably looking at a little bit of weakness in the dollar. Aussie dollar looks the most interesting for a price perspective, but no setup. So waiting for some of these setups while things look like they're decent value is probably wise. Oh, Sue, you're welcome. And then just seeing if you can ride it out. I would probably avoid euro long this week. I'd probably avoid something about the pound that puts me off. I know the seasonal data suggests go long the pound, but there's something about it which makes me a bit uneasy. I like the Aussie personally, and therefore I kind of like the Kiwi by default. I don't mind the Kiwi at all, but Aussie looks to me like the right one to be looking for some upside. Maybe because risk is starting to come back into the market. I'm not sure, but I do like that one. Gold, I don't like the price point. The Nasdaq continues to push to the upside. Maybe some weakness coming in here, but any bit of weakness, it did manage to kind of come back a bit, but it's ultimately a buying opportunity. So anything weakness in this becomes a buying opportunity. Nothing suggests to me that trends are going to change. It just suggests that we retrace a bit, or we stay flat, or continues to edge higher. So that would be my take on it. You're welcome, Paul P. Okay, have a great week, guys. Trade safe. Look after your capital. It's going to be really important to make sure that the money management is going to be always the key aspect. You're welcome, Christine. And we will. Well, I guess I'll see you in the next market trader update, and we'll see if we were right or not. But yeah, as I say, guys, trade safe. Look after the capital. The markets will deliver, and it doesn't matter how long they take. They will deliver. So take your time and be patient and enjoy it.